Hey, it's Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, and welcome to this episode where I'm going to be tackling a Matchbox GT40. And this was in my collection of beat-up cars that I probably was never going to touch, but I just figured I'd give this one a try. I'm not a huge Matchbox guy, but this thing definitely needs some work. As always, if you like the content, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. So yeah, I'm not a huge Matchbox person. However, this one is pretty beat up and it looked like it needed some loving. So the tacky green base and the very beat up white paint, red interior. There was only a few other colors they didn't add to this to make it completely tacky. However, I think I did a pretty decent job in the end. So considering how bad this was, I mean, it's really in rough shape, which is fun. I like to bring some things back. I'm not a huge restorer, but I do enjoy once in a blue moon restoring some stuff. It's got the typical plastic wheel axle thing that holds everything down. I'm not a huge Matchbox person, so I don't know all the fancy lingo, but the parts were pretty bad. A lot of dirt. This thing's definitely seen some play, which is good. I mean, the whole point of these things growing up, at least, was to play with them. And this one looked like it had been in the dirt a little bit. Right now, I'm just kind of grinding the post down that holds the windshield in. And I've had horrible success in the past trying to get them out without breaking them. So watching guys like Marty and Time Rider, I've picked up a few things. So I managed to get that out. The big thing for me with this is the wheels. That it's just, there's something about the original Matchbox wheels I can't stomach. Something in me just makes me want to customize everything I touch. So that's pretty much what I'm going to end up doing, is replacing them with some Hot Wheels wheels and hopefully making this look a little bit better than it did originally. The issue I ran into a little bit was obviously the Matchbox tires are very thin, and they were too thin. They look like little pizza slices there, and these wheels are a little too big as far as being fairly fat in comparison. So it took a little bit of grinding, a little bit of cutting to try to get them to fit. So what I ended up doing, there's a little tab that sticks out past the rim itself on the back side. So I ended up cutting that off. So pretty much the back of the wheel was flush. And that bought me about 1/8 of an inch on each side, which was just about all I needed. And at the same time, the white plastic hold down had a little, I call them little tits that stick out just a tad to keep the wheel off. And I snipped those down a little bit as well. Just, every little centimeter makes a huge difference here. And that's essentially what I ended up doing. And the front, I had to grind just maybe another 32nd to a 16th inside the wheel housing itself. And that was it. That's all I really had to do. So it worked out pretty good. So I stripped it to see what I was up against. It's pretty bad. Combination of a lot of things. Obviously, I use my wire wheel to clean off any excess. I'm going to use a Scotch-Brite pad. I'm going to use polishing compound. This is really, really rough. And I think the casting itself was just a rough casting to begin with. I'm sure they made and pumped out millions of these things. So, but it's such a cool casting, anyways. It's worth putting a little bit of time into it that I did. So it was kind of fun. So I tried to. I found in the past I've had some good success polishing out some rough areas. So that's why I'm using like a wire wheel right here, just to kind of really dig this metal polish in and get. And this is the same stuff that I would use if I was going to use like a Spectra flame color. But I'm not going that route this time. At this point, I almost thought about it, but the casting was just too far gone. It was just not. I was going to go like a Spectra Flame blue. Now I put this up on my community tab on my here on YouTube, and I asked everybody's opinion on colors. And the overwhelming, I mean, there was a lot of good choices. One of them was rainbow with poop stickers, I think, but or unicorns. But aside from that one, which was funny, and I almost did it just for shits and grins, blue is the predominantly favored color, so this is going to go blue. But polishing it, again, I'm only trying to take off the bulk of it, and it did work to a degree. So the engine compartment, I decided I was going to do a little bit of detailing on that because you can see it through the back window. And I wire wheeled it, polished it, cleaned it just to get all the grime and dirt and gunk out of it. And that allowed me a nice, decent surface to be able to paint and do just enough that it, really pops when you look in the back window, which was what I was after. But it's the little details I find that add up when you do enough of them on a car to really make it stand out, because it pulls your eye in so many different directions, and it's nice. I figured I'd go a little bit of blue, Ford blue, I guess you could call it, for the valve covers and the block itself. Again, just to make it stand out a little bit. Again, nothing outrageous. I mean, there's not a lot there to begin with, so in the end, I think it was just enough. I could have gone crazy, I suppose, but there really wasn't a ton to work with. But at the same time, you got to hit all the little details. So hopefully you guys are doing well. This is, I think, I don't even know what day it is, what week it is with this quarantine thing going on. Hope everybody's doing really well. Mainly staying sane. That's the hard part. I'm having a hard time myself, getting into anything because the news is just so dire, and every time you turn around, it's one thing after another. So I did wash and clean the windshield in the interior. I scrubbed it down. I polished it with some swirl remover, which you can see there in the background next to my coffee cup. And then I'm going to dip it in Pledge, the Future Shine stuff. I've got a whole bottle of that, and I actually like it better than the gauzy stuff. So I'm using splash paints, and I'm using a Le Mans blue, which I know is a GM color, but it said Le Mans, so it must be okay. But I just like the shade of blue, so that's kind of what I'm doing. And this stuff, you pour it in right out of the bottle, right into your airbrush, and you can't go wrong. I really, really dig this stuff, and I've painted a few other things this color, and I love the color, so you can kind of see there how it pops. And then I'm using my vinyl Tamiya tape in different thicknesses to hand paint, or not hand paint, but to mask off so I can paint all the stripes and so on and so forth, which was very time consuming and a pain in the neck. I'm not going to lie, I kind of wish I didn't do it, but it does add to it. So there you go. That's pretty much what it looks like. We're at that time of the video where I talk about my Wicked Pissa Jar, which is something I started when I was at 12,000 subscribers. When I get to 14,000, I'm giving everything away. So far, I've added a bunch of different things. And each week I try to add one thing, at least, minimum. And you can kind of see as it scrolls through all the things I've added so far. But again, when I hit 14,000, I'm going to be giving away the entire content to one subscriber. And so it should be pretty fun this week. I am adding this Mustang, which is a Hot Wheels version with real riders, so and an opening hood. I got my decals here. This came with a bunch of stuff that Kenny Terry sent me at kennyterry.com, and I looked at some reference images and stuff online, and I decided to go with number 2, A, because it was popular, and B, I only have a few numbers to deal with, so that I had enough of. These go on great. No issues whatsoever. It's decals. It's not rocket science. You can see right there, I got my little cup of water, I got my brushes, I got my tweezers, I got my microset, or microsol, excuse me. And, for the most part, I put one on each door and one on the hood just to kind of break it up, just like the originals, and try to keep it somewhat looking decent. I think in the end, it came out pretty decent. The detail work was kind of a pain in the neck on this. There's a lot of grills. So I started off using the a Bad and Black from Citadel on the rear vents, and then I realized that was kind of a pain in the neck, and I wanted to try something different, so I ended up using a black pen to color in all the other details. And this is before I clear coat it, so it's all going to get sealed anyways. And the pen worked out really well. I was real happy with it, and it's easy to work with. And there you can see my clear coat in the background, and that's what I use, which is an automotive 2K clear. And really, at that point, now it's just a matter of clearing it and assembling it. You can see I painted the interior black. I get rid of that ugly red. I wanted to go white because I thought it would stand out a little bit more, but white interior is not really practical. In a race car, it would have been black, so that's kind of what I'm doing there. Huge shout out to all my Patreon members. I really appreciate it. I have multiple tiers set up. Congrats to Chris Smith, who won the 10 car set this month, and to Steve Mance, who won the 57 Custom. I give away one custom a month and a set of 10 minimum cars. So as a reminder, this is what I started with. Pretty fugly looking skinny tire Matchbox beater GT40. Really not much to say about it except it's pretty beat up. This is the final result. I'm pretty happy with it. There's a few things I would have done different, but I think we can all say that about every project that we do. So hopefully you guys like it. If you do, make sure you comment down below, subscribe if you are not already a subscriber, and stick around. I got a little bit more video and I get some pictures at the end, and I will catch you on the next one.